Alright, hello class. I am doing my weekly Teach One Another lesson on the DevTools, or let me see, what's it actually called? Web Developer Tools for our class and how to use them and what to do with them. And so I am going to use just our school website for this. So if you haven't downloaded it, I'm in Chrome. You can download the extension for Web Developer, and you get that put up there so you can use it. And so basically what it is a little tool that allows you to manipulate, test, and kind of make sure that everything is correct with all of the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. There's a lot of other little options to it. You can disable certain things while you're kind of developing your website and looking for things. Cookies. CSS has all these things you can do with CSS. Edit it. Change all sorts of things. Disable them completely. There's a forms checker. Images. Information. Haven't even looked at the miscellaneous thing, so I'm not sure what that is. Look at outlines. Resize things. So you just kind of get a idea of what it looks like in different images when we're doing like the normalizing and the base, medium, and large CSS formats. You can kind of get a look at what it's going to look like in those different tools, different formats. But for me, what I pretty much use this for so far is to validate the CSS, HTML, and like all these other things. So what I do is I pull up the website that I've designed for the week, get the page I want to, and then I'll start with like validating CSS. So we click that and it goes through and runs it. And so you'll come up with errors, which are these right here, and then down here there's warnings. And from what I understand is that errors will count against you for homework assignments in the class. Warnings will not. And so the nice thing about this is great. So when you get your error list, it'll tell you over here on the left which line in your CSS file the error is on. So you can go to that line and it kind of gives you a brief description of what the error is and how to fix it. And same thing with all the warnings. So these are all line 6. And it looks like they're kind of all the same two things over and over and over again. But when you finally get those corrected and you go through, it'll show up no errors, and then you're good. So usually what I do is I pull up my the VS Code and kind of look through and then correct the errors as they're doing it. As I'm going through the list. And then the next thing, so then you go back to the main page, to the tools, and then you can validate the HTML. And it's the same thing. It gives you a list of warnings and errors. Like I said, from my understanding, warnings don't count against the assignment, errors do. And so like this one here, there's an error on line 150, column 5, to line 150, column 7. So the line is the line kind of up and down, 1 through whatever. And then the column is how many spaces over. So it's the 5th space to the 75th space. And then it'll tell you what it is, bad value for this attribute on this element. It's very specific. It even gives you a highlighted area of the specific issues that they have. And yeah, looks like there's some things. But anyway, that is neither here or there. The thing is that it only checks for the page that you're currently on. So if you want to go to another, like say University and Admissions, and you want to check that link, so you have to check each link and each page individually. So you do the same thing. Click on doing the HTML just to kind of show. And then here we get the warnings, we get the errors, all that fun stuff. And then there's also something that it's come in handy, especially when we're doing links to style sheets and pictures and images and JavaScript, that allows you to validate all the links on that page to make sure that they're working. So it'll come up with the website there. And the summary only is all I do for right now. I don't think I'm knowledgeable enough to know all these little, or have all these little other things be valuable to me yet. Maybe one day. So it takes a little while because it has to check every single link on the page, make sure it's connecting, make sure that it's going somewhere, that it's working. And so here, just keep going and going. Like I say, it takes a while. Hopefully not too long. So while that's running, you can edit the tools, you can put new tools on there or not. Options, reset the page, a lot of other things. So the neat thing about this is the basic things that I use for it are the validating. I just validate everything, make sure it's working and that there's no errors. Correct those errors by the line that you get in the printout or the output for the checker. And there's all these other things too that are like very powerful, very good tools to kind of learn to use, and hopefully as we continue on in our quest for knowledge, that these things become more evident in how they're helping out. And still, this thing is still going in circles. Not circles, but checking. Yeah, let's stop it and just run it again and see if that helps. Run a little bit quicker. Hey. Well, maybe I broke it. Here, let's start. But the validate links has kind of been helpful for me because I had a couple pages that weren't connecting and it told me exactly where the problem was. And if it's not a link, then obviously it's something else. So it's kind of a nice part. But that is kind of a quick basic rundown of Web Developer extension. So download it, use it. It's a great tool. The nice thing is it's all in one place. Before I've used validators, but I had to go to a separate validator for each, for CSS or HTML. And it just wasn't as convenient as this was. So, all right. Well, I hope that explains it. If you have any questions, I'm sorry for the lateness of this. I've kind of been human for the last couple days. So thank you. Have a great rest of your week.